my god, I cannot f***ing believe this. Here we f***ing go.
Pretty sure we've landed on the actual title of my sex tape. Something, 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 turkey callback, something, something, Rick's pixelated. Improv the rest is how I guess this scene was written. Also, Rick's turkey feathers fall out, and I can't help but wonder what part of his human body is forever transmuted, laying forgotten on the cold concrete of the back porch.
I heard you smack the glass, Dad.
She knows the sound of turkey smacking glass? That is oddly specific and highly suspicious.
Rick, put some pants on. Today has so few rules.
Jerry doesn't acknowledge that wearing pants inside the home is a courtesy we afford to our loved ones and not an obligation or requirement under the law. Also, if there are too few rules, then perhaps there should be more rules. For example, one must wear clothing before entering the dining room. Be specific if you don't want to see Rick's dangle doodles. You know he's a nudist.
Ding, ding, ding.
Whoa, 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 you have to be careful with that sacred word. You just can't go around sinning yourself like that. You reference your own sins enough as it is. Leave some fun for us.
Can we please have a normal Thanksgiving?
Does Beth actually think anything normal is possible with her family? And what does normal even mean anyway? I will never miss an opportunity to send the Thanksgiving Jell-O mold. Rest in peace, Auntie Grace. You are missed, but your Jell-O abominations with a side of f***ing horseradish sauce are not. Holding your glass like this. I mean, animating your character to hold a glass like this. Move the thumb laterally for balance to avoid the glass accidentally flipping out of the grip.
Oh, I got this.
Adjusting someone's body without their explicit verbal and written consent, along with signed approval from a f***ing doctor.
I got just the thing for that. Here.
Inserting a foreign object into a body without their explicit verbal and written consent, along with a signed approval from a f***ing doctor. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen the backward motion of the tongues of the characters in this show. Whenever I think about the anatomy of it, I start to try to do why talk about conversation 300 times more plenty.
Bro, tell your son you love the shit out of him.
Oh, I'm gonna.
This is touching in a weird way, and I don't like it when I'm touched in a weird way.
We do share a shitty back.
You don't, though. You share a point in time with specifically replicated DNA, but then both Beths have individual opportunities to find a way to heal their backs.
It's very realistic.
Is it? There's not another terminal adjacent to the one Tube Steak is paying for. In a real world scenario, I just walk around it. I mean, Tube Steak would avoid paying and just walk around it. I'd pay for sure.
Floppy dropulites have less taste buds than humans. Their ice cream is like a hospital bed. It's designed for you to do less so it does more.
Wouldn't this mean their tongues are less sensitive and require more flavor to elicit the same effect? And yes, that would mean the food is doing more, but unlike hospital food or its beds, the flavor would be overwhelming.
You have your own space station?
But you said earlier,
I'll sleep in my car. It's got a TARDIS thing going on bigger on the inside.
an admission that renders a space station pointless and redundant.
We're the same person.
They are not.
I want you back in my guts like I'm one of your sick little fillies.
Is actually something that Beth said to herself that I now must consider when thinking of this episode later.
Yeah, and if he kills himself, we're gonna have to get a new dad.
Assuming Jerry is a dad.
This species of bionic space whale has carbon wiring.
Show forgets that we were dismissing most of the things of the show because of portal travel. And doesn't bother explaining how or why Rick has a space whale prepped and ready to go on the operating table just in case.
I'm not killing it, for the record.
Carry on with your shocking space species shenanigans, sir, but perhaps install some sort of grate in the floor for goop cleanup? I mean, we know there is a hatch down there somewhere, but mopping up victims' gore must be exhausting. I want to watch the dissection of this telepathic bionic whale, but instead I'm wondering where this wayward cord is going and why it's not plugged into the outlet properly. Oh, good. They remembered to animate the plug. I just had to wait 10 more seconds during the bionic birth scene.
I'm just saying, lies pile up, like credit card debt. You retain an advantage by staying liquid.
Rick doesn't have this live your truth sign hanging next to the live, love, laugh one in his knitting den. But also, solid financial advice. The single most important part of this scene happens off screen. I'm sure it involves some fanciful tech, but to flaunt the achievement of a perfect snow angel with no footprints leading to or from without sharing such knowledge is an affront to the laws of God and men.
Are we in love with ourselves? I mean, does that make us the most or the least healthy woman in the universe?
This is a wild hypothetical, and I'm happy it's being explored. But it also feels like a fanboy's fantasy being exploited on a dark website, swimming through the adultness of the internet that I should not be exploring. My boner is so confused right now, making us believe that Jerry could complete a puzzle in a few hours, let alone one night or a week.
Holy shit, you did a full San Junipero in here?
If they could pull a full San Junipero and Rick Sutton holodeck, then why does Rick even need to go to Blitz and Chits to play Roy? For the next several seconds, the children pile ice cream into their mouths like crazy people, and neither of them get an ice cream headache or make a dent in their bowls. I'm hyper-focused on it because of the awkward sex chat between mom and dad and mom, so at least give me more details to distract me. Not ironing down the letter on your jacket. show just pulled one of the weirdest, funniest, and most unexpected Jerry moments completely out of its ass and reminded us why we love this show in the process. These tattoos could win on Ink Master, and I can't send that. But I can send having an ass this shiny.
It's a cool power to have, like if you have to fly coach or if Summer asks you what you thought of Wonder Woman 1984.
Thinking that Summer would not only watch Wonder Woman 1984, but then also ask her potato of a dad for his opinion. This entire sequence reminds me of my hatred of the word forest. I was once told that if I was confused about how to spell desert versus dessert, that the extra S in dessert was like an extra helping of sweet, yummy goodness. And that helped me. But you can't use that same logic for forest versus forest, so you would think that the extra R would mean lots more trees. So add the extra R in a word defining a place with a ton of f***ing trees. But that is incorrect. So the sin, as always, is the English language.
Oh God, what happens in the shadows?
Considering they follow this up with
Vampires? Oh, come on, that's not realistic.
I'm guessing the writers know exactly what they do in the shadows. I see you.
Plot twist, Deus Ex Husbanda.
What is happening? Rick and Morty taking another one of my favorite sins? Are the writers trolling me? All right, we've got to find out. Writers, if you are watching and you're taking my sins away like some sort of entertainment Jesus, I pray demand you show me your power by correcting the greatest sin on your show, the f***ing bowl of fruit. Whilst thou move the fruit from the bottomest shelf to the toppest of the table as a sign that you are real. And because relationships like this are highly transactional, I promise if I see that bowl move, I will know it's a miracle and give all of the sins back. Sin men. Having many of the same shirt in the same color.
Well, hold on. This is weird.
Weird and permitted.
This weird permitted versus not permitted assessment goes on for all the uncomfortable twincesty amounts of Jerry being aroused times. They are still eating off the bird for dinner? Man, you pick it clean for meat for easy snacking later and chuck the bones in the bin. There is no reason to shove a carcass into the fridge and take up all that precious space. Probably the most sinful part of this Thanksgiving dinner is the family can hear the threesome upstairs at all. Beth and Jerry's bedroom is here, and the dinner is here, so the sound of their conversation is pressing through the barely overlapped section of their room in the entryway and wafting into the dining room to be heard perfectly. Disrespecting the garbage disposal.
Sometimes we have Jerry's come here and try to touch other Jerry's.
Jerry's touching Jerry's.
I'll allow it. Gail strikes me as a very beautiful woman. But you know, there's a little tension in her voice. Could be one of two things. Either Gail is nervous or unsatisfied.
I find this is usually the biggest help.
Why are you so into Pinot? I mean, it's like a thing with you.
We get to say anything to each other. Things we'd never say to anyone else, even ourselves.
Could Houston be misinterpreting the data?
Hell no, secrets are great. For instance,
I was doing the bloody disco 100 years before any other f***er.
Seriously, you two?
Barclay's been running some unusual programs.
Well, that was unexpected.
I agree. For the record, we made a mistake.